And you know what? This is why Scripture tells us not to give up complaining. Instead, it uses a much more specific word. Take a look at this word here. The word in the New Testament, the Greek word is gagusmon, which means to grumble. And as you can see there are a few definitions that help us to understand this word. The first one is to complain with a bad attitude. Oh, I don't want to see the in-laws. Oh, I don't want to mow the lawn, right? It's not just that we're complaining, but we're complaining with a bad attitude. Now, the second one is to complain in a low voice. For example, let's say you're at Publix, you're in line waiting to check out, and the person in front of you, it looks like they're about to pay with their card, but then all of a sudden they pull out this huge stack of coupons. And you start to go, oh, come on. You have got to be kidding me. I just put all my groceries on the thing. Now I'm going to wait for 5 minutes. What are you doing? You're complaining in a low voice. You're grumbling. Now, the last one is my favorite one here. It's to make a low rumbling sound. Now, let me ask you, if you don't eat for a long period of time, let's say like 8 hours, eventually, what is your stomach going to do? It's going to make a low rumbling sound. We say, hey, my stomach is growling, or my stomach is grumbling, or my stomach is rumbling. And friends, what's happening is your stomach is complaining to you that it's hungry, right? In other words, it's grumbling about the fact that you have not given it any food for a certain period of time. And so, friends, when we look throughout the New Testament and the Old Testament, when we look throughout the Bible, the Israelites, the Pharisees, Jesus' disciples, it doesn't say that they were complaining about things. Rather, very specifically, it says that they were grumbling about things. And you know, this is why Scripture doesn't tell us to give up complaining. Rather, it tells us to give up grumbling. In fact, take a look at this. The Apostle Paul puts this in Philippians chapter 2, beginning of verse 14. He says, do everything without grumbling, and there's that word, gagusmon. Now, notice that Paul doesn't say do some things without grumbling. He doesn't say do most things without grumbling. What does he say? He says do everything without grumbling. Meaning, as followers of Jesus, when it comes to grumbling, you and I are called to give this up entirely.